Hi, good morning. It's Misti Burmeister. I want to share with you the final words I heard the day that I turned in my letter of resignation and decided to just quit my job without another one lined up and without really knowing that I only had $37 to my name and a $1,000 rent payment coming due. Not something I recommend necessarily, but this were the final words that I heard the CEO of the company when I presented to her everything I knew about the company. I had been working there for just 4 months, but I was going crazy, doing way too many of the details, and I was just struggling to figure out how I could contribute, how I could use my natural talents to help this company grow, give them everything I have to offer, basically. And so over the course of 2 weeks, I read every document the company had put out into the media in the 25 years they'd been in business that I could get my hands on, and I went through all of it and presented to the CEO to show her everything I knew with hopes that I could do more of what I'm naturally gifted at. Less of, let's say, meeting planning and things of this nature. Basically, it's how can I help her achieve her vision? And so I go in there and I do this presentation, and I'm nervous. You can imagine. I wanted her to go up and down the hallways and say, we have a new superstar in our hands today. Misti Burmeister has arrived. That didn't happen. Instead, what she said to me was, Misti, what did your parents do to deal with you? It's clear you have problems with anxiety. Do you take medication for that? And the truth is shortly after I turned in my letter of resignation, I was pressing my chest against the floor trying to calm my heart rate because my anxiety was so high. So clearly she was onto something, but at the end of the day, I wanted to contribute. We all have so much energy inside of us. We want to give it. We just oftentimes don't know how. We don't know how to package our brilliance, our greatness. And we oftentimes need other people to help us to see how to do that. And so here I am. It's over the course of 6 months, I just opened the Yellow Pages, and because that was inspiring for me in the moment. It was the only way I could figure out how to learn about what there was to do in the world outside of academia, which is the world I'd come from. And so I started doing informational interviews. I just picked up the phone and did a cold call. Hey, can I interview you? I want to learn more about what you do, how you got to the position that you're in. And I did 150 of them in 6 months. And ultimately, I remember being in a conversation with a woman, and many different situations like this, but I remember this one in particular. She was a CEO of a nonprofit down in DC, and right in the middle of our conversation, I'm taking notes on everything she's saying. She says, she drops her pen and piece of paper and just says, let's talk frankly. And I'm, okay, what are we talking frankly about? She says, I don't get these young professionals. They come into my office, first day on the job, first meeting with me without a pen and piece of paper. And I said, okay, now I'm really curious because I've just been through a challenging experience where I came across poorly. So I said to her, so well, what does that mean? And she says, well, they don't respect me, they don't care about this organization, and they don't want to be successful. Now we all know, because I've asked thousands of people this, we all want to be successful. So that's just craziness. We all want to succeed. We just don't always know how. And so I asked her the question. I said, well, what if they just didn't know they were supposed to bring a pen and piece of paper? Well, they should know. I said, well, what if they don't know? But they should know. And I said, all right, try this. And I gave her a couple of different tips. Here's one of the tips I gave her. I said, next time they come into your office out a piece of paper and a pen, I said, tell them to go back to their office and get one. And then when they do, or something to take notes with, right? And then when they do, explain to them that when you come to my office with a pen and piece of paper, what you're signaling to me is that you care about me, you want to be successful here, and so on. And she started doing that, and her turnover rate just disappeared. She had no more difficulty keeping her talent. So it wasn't about the people or even the age of the people on her team. It really had to do with not knowing how to succeed under her leadership. We have to teach people how to be successful. Everybody ultimately, if we remember, we all want to succeed. Regardless if we're Generation Y, Z, WQ, a baby boomer, whatever it might be. No matter what, we want to succeed. So if we're not under your leadership, help us. Show us how to be successful. Tell us when you do this, I see you this way. And show us how to do it right. Of course, not just what we're doing wrong, but show us how to do it right. And I promise you, at the end of the day, if that woman who ran that company had said to me, you know, Misty, if you could just put in a few more months in this position, I'm thinking that maybe we'll have some other opportunities open up, and I'd love to get you in them. By the way, in the interim, why don't you take some training? It might be really good for you to learn some different things, maybe some presentation skills, these sorts of things. There's all different sorts of skills to learn to prepare you. I cannot imagine how loyal I would have been to her. So I want to encourage you, if you're looking to increase the loyalty of the folks in your team, you want the people young, more seasoned, in between, to stay on your team and to stay engaged. Help them to see how to be successful under your leadership. Give them feedback. What's working, what's not working, immediate and often. Create that environment, and they'll also, by the way, give you feedback and help you to be more successful. You create that environment, and the very best leaders in the world are the ones who consistently ask for feedback. Richard Fairbank, CEO and founder of Capital One, that's one of the things he said is, within his organization, there's a direct correlation between the people who rise and those who ask for feedback and take action on that feedback. So I encourage you to do that same thing. I encourage you to give them opportunities to improve, to be successful under your leadership. Here's to your greatness.